Well, I've got my fucking thing. Oh, Joe, this is chaotic.
It looks chaotic. But brother, good to see you, man. How are you?
Good to see you. Very stressed trying to get this podcast set up, mate. This podcast lifestyle is non-stop.
Another two mad Scotsmen on the podcast
That's that, aye.
talking. Yeah. Well, you guys will be able to understand each other.
Off, but you won't. So neither will like everybody that tunes in.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you know what I mean? It's the way the mind
Yeah.
works when it comes to
Yeah.
this sort of thing. Like if you've got that number in your head, every number before that doesn't matter.
Yeah. Buddy, as we've mentioned, we've got the amazing privilege and honor to have Art Iron Wolf himself here. Give
Yes, yeah, I'm active duty Marine. I've been serving for 15 years in the Marine Corps, and kind of my side thing, I guess,
yeah.
is I do the whole Iron Wolf thing, which all the different stories that people share, like your training helped me quit drugs, your training helped me quit alcohol, your training helped me get into a selection in the military that I was going for. It changed my life, and when you see people talking about how it changed their life for the positive, that's when I realized that, like holy shit, like I'm making an impact on people's lives. And that's when it's like, all right, well, I can't stop now. I want to continue to create better content. I want to give people something, and I always want to set the example. For me, that was really important to say that, I'm going to do this routine, but before anybody else does it, I'm going to be the one that does it first, and I'm going to show you how it's done, as a leader should, of course.
Yeah. One question I've got straight off the bat is what inspired you to start a YouTube channel bringing this brand of fitness to the world? And were you ever aware of the impact they're going to have on the fitness community?
Yeah, so let me backtrack a little bit so you kind of understand how my channel started.
Yep.
So I've been training calisthenics for over a decade. Um, when I was in Afghanistan, I was serving with a friend, and I would make workouts for my team, and he would constantly tell me like, "Hey, you should branch out. A lot of people could benefit from this stuff. Maybe you think about social media, YouTube." I was not interested at all, and this was around 2009, 2010. I couldn't give a shit about social media. I didn't care. I didn't have any kind of social media platforms. I said, I'm just responsible for, training my men and training myself to be fit. It's part of the job, mission oriented, tough, realistic training, and that's all I care about. And he continued throughout the years to kind of like, be that like constant reminder. He's like, hey, like people will benefit from this. You should do it. You should do it. You should do it. So in 2019, I came back to the States from Okinawa, Japan. I was serving in Japan for 2 years. Came back to the States, and he once again said, he's like, hey man, listen. He said you should really do a YouTube channel before it's too late. You have a wealth of knowledge. You understand programming. You're a good leader. You're articulate. And this is all the stuff like coming from him. Like he gave me a rundown of all the whys I should do it. Now, I didn't view myself as that. Like once again, I just like I don't care. Social media is whack. It's not my style. I'm a very like conservative guy. I'm not really like outgoing. Don't like any of the flash. But and I said, all right. So I created the YouTube channel. And it wasn't actually even named Iron Wolf. It was just named my name, Arthur Schwartzberg, and that's it. Like not creative at all. Like no fluff. It was just like a boring name. And I started putting out short videos, short little routines, and that's how it started rolling. So it's really all thanks to my friend Billy. He's the one that constantly pushed me to do it, and eventually I listened to him, and I just created the channel. Now I had no idea that it was gonna get this big. I didn't even think anybody cared, or my mind wasn't in being an influencer. I already had my career as a United States Marine. I was pretty, successful in that, and that was kind of my main focus. And I didn't think that I was even going to be able to juggle both things at the same time, you know. But here we are, and it has made an impact. And from day one, none of the stuff has changed. The origins remain the same. The content remains the same. The mindset has remained the same. Whether when I had 0 subscribers to, and it's like 158K right now. Yeah, right. Speak softly but carry a big stick, right, Teddy Rose?
So I live in the suburbs outside of, I'm sorry, I'm going to do that every once in a while, the suburbs of Philadelphia, PA in the United States. I am a personal trainer, group fitness instructor. I've been in the industry for about 7 years now. I started that after my second daughter. I went from working in the corporate world to wanting to do something that I was really passionate about. And so that's what I did. Awesome. That's exactly it. Yeah. And the other thing is too, I'm kind of like a creature of habit. Like I could eat the same thing every day.
Oh, what is that? What is that same thing that you could eat every day?
Oh God. Well, I could eat eggs just because I know it's like the best complete protein. Like, protein, so I like eggs like all the time. But like my breakfast has been, it's like 1 whole egg and like 4 egg whites, a bowl of oatmeal with blueberries and strawberries and pecans.
Wow.
And a little sugar-free syrup just to make it taste like dessert, and like either a piece of turkey sausage or turkey bacon. And I mean, I've been doing that for about 2 years now.
Every day, that's your breakfast.
Every once in a while, I might do like what do you call it, the Kodiak pancakes? Do you guys have that? Like they're like protein pancakes. Oh. So they're just a higher protein pancake, and I'll
anything with pancakes. I'm down. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. I can't imagine life without burpees now. With whatever kind of training I do, we're going to throw some burpees in there.
Lee would love that. That would bring a huge smile to Lee's face.
I've been known to be making dinner at the stove, and I think of something, I'm like, let me try that out real quick,
Yeah.
Try it real quick. I'm like, all right, I'm good, good luck. Yeah. Absolutely.
To be honest, my dad had gotten out of prison, and I had a good friend or two. They showed me. So in other words, I watched others do it,
right,
or doing them. So I had the idea already planted, the seed planted in my mind, and I got to see it. I was able to do a little bit, but unfortunately, I did something that cost my freedom. I went to prison for it.
Yeah.
And in there, I evolved my burpee game. I was taught and I learned a certain way how to do it, but I added my own flavor, my own style to it. Nice. I wanted to make it harder. It was too easy. It was the basics. I wanted to make it harder. So that's why my style is the way it is.
Can I just say, Moses, it's one thing that I immediately noticed about you was your style of burpee. There's a very, very distinctive intensity to the burpee. The way you punch your chest, the way you punch your chest muscles. There's a lot of, I don't want to say anger, but it looks like anger in every single burpee. Yeah, absolutely. And when I watch them, it's like I watch a lot of burpee guys, but yours, I become quite transfixed in watching. I find myself getting almost hypnotized watching your burpees because, I think your burpees tell a story.
Man, I appreciate that a lot. Hey, that means a lot. That means a lot to hear. Because honestly, by you saying that, it's a beautiful thing. Because for me, it's like a form of art. It's like my therapy. It's all that in one. Yeah. And challenging myself because I want to push myself to my limits. Because while I was creating my style, my philosophy of burpees, I'm thinking of the art of war. I want to be able, I'm trying to survive. So every day we will get 1 hour on yard. Right. Yep. 1 hour. Yep. Okay. So whenever we would go to the yard to work out, that whole hour, we'll stretch for the maybe first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
After that, we're getting straight down to business, and we're going the whole hour nonstop. And even there's been times where I remember we will go past the hour and go for 2 hours of nonstop burpees. Wow. And then I remember it would get so tense that it wouldn't even be my body no more. I would just be in my mind by myself. and I'm just going, and I'm sweaty, drenched with sweat, you know, and it's that's where the mental strength, I think, grows, and you evolve, and you learn about yourself.
Yeah. Amazing privilege and honor to have Mr. Jared Miller in the house with us today, or Emubus, and there's a bit of a story about that, so we'll let him explain and talk about that for...
Absolutely. Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity, and thanks for having me on, guys.
But first and foremost, right, like, this is a big honor for me. I just want to put this out there because Jared is a guy who has had a major influence on me, particularly in the last year or so, where, like I described to Iron Wolf, that my training was floundering a wee bit. These guys coming across them, they like sent a rocket bolt up my derriere, so to speak, and kind of put me on the path to which I find myself now. So first and foremost, I would like to say thanks to Jared for just sharing his thoughts and his style of training online, and allowing guys like me to have access to that and implement it within my own training regime, and bringing me results which I had only dreamed about for the last 19 years of my training life.
It's really incredible. I'm still just in my mind just some guy who's just screaming at walls online. And so whenever I see someone like take something that I've come up with and try it, well, for what, I'm like, what's wrong with you? It's usually my initial reaction. But then when I see what they do with it, especially like what you did where you took it and you made it your own thing, it's really cool for me to watch. And it makes it all worth it, because it can be a slog online dealing with just a bunch of people that just don't get it, and then the one that does just makes it all worth it. It just erases all the bad times. So thank you for doing what you did with it.
But the first question I've got is quite a broad question. What I would like you to do, and for the people listening, is I would like you to tell us the evolution of your training style.
Yeah, great question. And I'll start at the end and then work to the beginning here. But ultimately, the premise I operate off of, I'll say that my educational background, it's political science. I got straight D's in all my hard science courses. Biology escapes me, anatomy, physiology, it's all Latin terms, I can't get it. So I'm too stupid to know how to do things right. And so the way I approach things, the philosophy I interact with, is that this idea that the body, it reacts to demand placed upon it. And if the demand is great, then the body will react by getting bigger and stronger and better, because it wants to survive ultimately. And if the demand is low, then it gets stagnant. It chooses not to do anything. And so I'm always trying to find some sort of way to push my body to a point where it gets a signal that says, okay, I need to start growing, I need to start adapting, because otherwise the person who's running my body is going to kill me. I'm trying to keep it in fear of myself the whole time. So that's the ultimate premise there. It's always, I always want to push my body to some sort of point where its response is going to be that it needs to adapt, it needs to grow, it needs to get better and stronger. And there's a lot of people out there that'll say that that's not how it works, and you need to use some sort of periodization, and you can't always push hard all the time, and et cetera, et cetera. And maybe that's what all the science says, but this works for me. And it's the reality I have, so I'll just play by those rules and it'll be fine with me. And then COVID was, of course, a big player in the evolution, because you guys have seen I've got a home gym, and and so as a result, I had an abundance of free time, and I couldn't interact with other humans, and I couldn't do martial arts, and I couldn't. So I'm like, well, I guess I'll work out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times a day. If I have to run trash to the garage, I'll go ahead and do some chin-ups, and if I got an extra 5 minutes, I'll do 5 minutes of conditioning. And it just kind of became what it is. Find the way you can do it. And if that way is insane or psychotic or whatever, that's fine. At least find a way to get to yes, and then figure out what the limitations are.
Rob Williams. Robbie Williams.
Entertain you. Excellent. Yeah, my name's Rob Williams, and as people keep reminding me, I'm 61 years of age, 61, yeah. But I live in, I know, it's scary, mate. I don't like to be reminded too often, because I think, not got too many years left. But, 61. I live in Wolverhampton, England. Or as I just said to you, Wolverhampton is how we pronounce it. Because I'm only about 5'4", when I was at school, I never used to get picked for any of the teams, you know what I mean, because I was too small. People say, oh, don't want him on our side, he's no good, he's too short, he's too weak, and blah, blah, blah. So I never really got interested in sports and stuff at school. Started enjoying it, you know, because I was always scared of my own shadow being small, and I felt, you know, part of things, whereas at school I was on the periphery because nobody picked me for anything like the teams. I felt really included in the karate, and I kind of flourished and progressed. And as the years went by, I got selected for like international, junior and senior international squads. And
awesome.
While I was doing that, one of the other things I always wanted to do was join the army. So I did.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, I went to the army, signed up for 6 years. Because my granddad fought in the First World War, and I was always really proud of my granddad, you know. So I always said, whatever I did in life, I want to join, you know, I'll join the army. And after that, I fell kind of off the wagon, stopped training. I just, unfortunately, took to drinking. I did a few years of being in a bad place, really, and I had a bit of a wake-up call. When I went to hospital once, and they told me I got liver damage and stuff like that, and I went, "Ooh, it was a bit of a wake-up call." And
you speak for as long as you like, my friend. Look at that cup.
Well, my son, my son's in university in Scotland at St Andrews, and he came down this week for a week, and he brought me a gift. And I was going to show it to Lee, but he can see the video after. But I clicked on it, and there's this bald geezer from America. Standing there doing burpees. I thought, well, that's crap, innit? I can do burpees. I can do 100 non-stop. 100 non-stop, you know, the jumpy, bouncy up and down ones.
Yeah.
And I just looked, I put my cursor across the bottom, and it went 1.5.33. I thought, 1.5 minutes to do 500 burpees. I thought, how's he doing 500? And it was Navy SEALs. Well, I'd never seen it. I didn't know what a Navy SEAL was. So I looked and went 1:50:33. Right, so I dragged my cursor along. It's 1 hour, 50 minutes and 33 seconds. I thought, man, that's bullshit, that is. So I watched the first couple of minutes. I gave the explanation. I've written it down because it was, he'd recorded February 23rd, 500 Navy SEALs, count them, the infamous routine, hour and 50 minutes. I thought, that's bullshit, that is. So I watched the first, I sat there, watched the first 2 minutes, and I went, fucking hell. And I sped it up again. I said, he ain't stopped yet. That was 10 minutes, 30 minutes, 50 minutes. And I was going along like this, an hour. And he took his shirt off after an hour, and he went, like that, threw it on the floor, went back. I went, fucking hell. He hasn't stopped. It was just that. I think Lee was on about last week, the rawness of his training. He was just standing there, banging this stuff out. And there was me thinking, I can do 100 non-stop. And I watched that. Oh man, and I couldn't believe it. And that was it. And I sat there and I went onto his channel, and I spent the rest of the day looking through all his videos, and I just couldn't get my head around somebody could train like that consistently. It just blew my mind, really. And that was it. From that day I went upstairs and I thought, I can do them Navy SEALs. 1, 2, 3. I thought, no man, I've got some work to do. I've got some work to do. But that was it. I was captivated then. That's what started me off, and that was April this year. So that's probably in the last 6 months, and it's just been consistent. It's the only thing, I have to be honest, my whole life that I've just kind of focused on and committed myself to, and wanted to do it every day, other than when I was doing the karate kind of thing. It's a process. You've got to get into it and build, and it is disheartening when they look at like you say, they see the big numbers. And I remember watching his first video, 1,000. I thought, absolutely no way I'm ever going to be able to achieve that. And it was probably 2 months before I got to the 1,000, but training every day. But I couldn't have done it unless I'd done it in little chunks, aren't they? Explain why I do nights specifically, because my daughter's an elite gymnast, and she's in the Welsh gymnastics squad for next year's Commonwealth Games. So she's training 5 days a week, and the wife earns the money, basically. And I do the transporting, make sure my daughter gets to the gym and do the kind of support work. But we need the extra, I need the extra cash to pay for my bits and pieces. So the night works, it's okay, it's not good, but I'm just struggling with the gym runs in the day and trying to find sleep and all that. It took me a few weeks to get into it, but as long as I'm still doing the burpees, Still pushing the ground away, even if it's 100, it's still get that done.
Lee Hazard sends his apologies. It's actually 2:00 in the morning for him right now. So he did say, "I'm sorry, mate. I won't be able to make it. I'll be sleeping." So yeah, good on him. But I only thought of that after I had organised it, because I booked this time to suit sort of my schedule and your time. So I forgot about poor old Lee, but he can get me back on the next one.
I went in the service right out of high school.
Right.
Joined the Navy. My folks said, "Hey, yeah, you can go to school, but you're gonna have to pay for it yourself." And I was mentally unprepared to take that on. Didn't know what it meant. So my dad was in Germany through the Vietnam era.
Wow.
And so he painted this really great picture of his time in the Army. They were basically standing by to get shipped off to Vietnam. So every weekend was the world's biggest party. I'm like, well, that sounds pretty good. Try to get the GI Bill so I could get to college that route. Yeah. In the service, my whole point of that little bit was, in the service, I just did what was needed to maintain standard physical fitness.
Yeah.
2000 was pretty much party time. Met my wife, got married.
Yeah.
We both were kind of party kids, and continued that on. 2000, found out my dad had cancer. So that was huge bomb dropped on the family. And it was esophageal cancer, mostly from heavy smoking. Yeah. Throat and mouth.
Right.
And, smoking and heavy drinking. And so I was also a heavy smoker all through the service.
Wow.
And downhill to an intersection, he's coming opposite direction to make a left turn. And I could just see him look right through me as he's scanning the intersection.
Yeah.
Literally looked right through me. And so he ended up T-boning me.
Yeah.
Flew across the road, landed on the sidewalk, had the strange cognizance to think he hit me on my left side. I landed on my right side on the sidewalk, and was like literally thinking, okay, good. I can land. Judo is all about falling. That's that's all your practice is, or not all, but 90%. You just practice falling. And so I remember thinking like, okay, good. I'll just do a fall over here. My leg's up. Anyway, I look at my leg, and it's at the femur. It's going the wrong direction. Broke my femur, lacerated my femoral artery.
Wow.
2 weeks in the ICU, 3 weeks in the hospital, 6 months out of work. So now I have, I wear that brace, and that's
I've seen that brace. I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, lifts my foot up. I can push.
So I play. I started my career as a. Oh, this is quite funny, mate. I was a rugby league player first, and I was actually a prop. So when I was at the Warriors, I was a prop. Yeah, I was, and then I was quite quick for a prop. So one day there was a winger. We were out of wingers for some reason, and then coach asked me, "Oh, you want to have a go at the wing?" So I was like, "Yeah, sweet." So then I played my first game as a winger in rugby league, and then ever since I've just been a back. So I play between a winger and a centre now. So even in Union, I'm in the back. So going from the big boys to the fast boys, I guess. So so I've been in the backs ever since. So I'm a centre winger.
No, I'm just a bit overawed right now because I'm in the presence of two really hunky Kiwis here. Whereas I look like a fucking dwarf warrior for Lord of the Rings. So you're going to have to bear with me here. But no, I mean, like my rugby knowledge is extremely limited, which is quite surprising for someone from Scotland because rugby's a really big game here. Has there been any carryover from the burpees to your actual performance on the field?
No, not really, mate. The reason being is that I make sure that I recover well. I eat well. that's like a main point that I always stress, is that I always make sure that I recover well. Ever since I started doing it, man, I've got a few of the boys jumping on board as well. You know, I've received a lot of messages and everything, and like the rugby boys, they're all starting to get onto it too. So it's quite good that to see that, mate. Yeah.
Brilliant.
So then one night I was just scrolling through fitness videos on YouTube and stuff, and then I came across a guy called Iron Wolf, and mate, that completely changed my life, man. I was like, what the frick? This guy is awesome. And then obviously I saw his burpees, and I was like, man, this is going to be my new challenge, you know, doing burpees and stuff like that. And I was like, you know, I'm a Polynesian, man. I'm a Pacific Islander, man. We don't even really like running and fitness, man, let alone do burpees.
He wants to know, how do you feel about your increase in subscribers thanks to him discovering and nurturing you?
I mean,
it's written in here in his message.
I mean, I'm just so grateful, you know. Where would I be without Lee?
There you go, Lee.
Yeah. Just thanks, Lee.
Thanks. Thank you, Lee. That's his head, and his head is just going to be exploding.
Think about what I'm going to say before I press record. I mean, it's just having the time. Like, just thinking about the workout takes up enough time, and I'm in that mode. I just working out. I don't want to be talking, you know. So maybe if I structure it a little bit better and think about what I'm going to say before I hit record, that might help. But yeah, I mean, it's getting easier. If you practice something, you're going to get better at it. But this just takes time with me. And yeah.
Awesome.
But, thanks, man. Like, I'm glad you're finding it better that I'm talking rather than worse.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
A working shed, and it was just a shithole, really. Like, had no love put into it at all, and so I had to tear the whole thing down and start from scratch. So it was just a concrete slab. I was drinking a lot. I got into smoking pot quite a lot.
Did you?
Yeah, which was a bad habit. Which I've only kicked like I haven't had a drink or anything since I started doing these burpees since
really?
March this year. So
March this year.
Yeah. So all the time
you,
backpacking, I wasn't really healthy. I was just having a good time.
Yeah.
But yeah, up until March this year, I've made a big change. I think like I've got nothing like against loads of people do it and it's fine, but again it's that obsession thing. Like I don't know where I wanted to get with it, but like it was just too much, man, and it was just encroaching on everything, just taking over really. So stopping it, I found that I've become more confident, more stable, you know, just my emotions are much more stable. I've become a lot more responsible, and now I just feel a lot more capable of things. Like there's no anxiety. Like there was always this kind of impending doom feeling, and he told me like, like we do 100 a day, and I was like 100. That's fucking mental. How do you do 100? And I started trying, and you know. And there's that obsession again. I was like, I'm going to get this. I'm going to do 100. So I'll constantly be pushing myself. And before long, I was doing 100 pretty easily. And, you know, I was super impressed with myself. I was like, yeah, I can do 100 burpees. Like, that's crazy. Like, not many people can do that. And then I go online, and of course I see Iron Wolf, because like you type in burpees online and Iron Wolf pops up. And I saw what he was doing. And then I saw the April challenge coming up.
Yeah,
like the whole month of April. I was like, cool, I'm gonna do that. And I said to my wife, like, this is what I want to do. Can you please just like I'll get on with all my jobs. I won't neglect anything, but I've got to do this. Like, and she was like always supportive. So
awesome.
she said, yeah, get it done. So I tried to do the advanced one as much as I could, but on busier days when I just didn't have the time, I would do the intermediate one. But I was like, I'm not doing the beginner one. No. Like, I can already do 100 burpees. Why would I do the beginner one?
We can hear you perfectly. Can you hear us okay?
Aye, there's a little bit of a buzz when you're talking, but it's fine.
Oh, okay. It must be Lee's because mine setup's perfect.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah,
It's just like a little bit of a buzz, but I can understand what you're saying.
That's called charisma, mate.
The incredible James Bruce, the founder and creator of the Bruce Burpee, which Lee Hazard is taking credit for. Lee Hazard also takes credit for discovering James Bruce and putting him out there. Don't worry, Bruce. James, we're going to give you a chance to nullify and shut
Don't worry,
all
I'm
of that
humble
down.
about it.
Yeah.
Right, well, my name's James. I'm 32 years old. I live in Aberdeen, obviously, because Lee would have told everyone that by now. But I'm not from Aberdeen. I was born in Germany.
Right.
My family's got an army background, so we moved about a lot when I was younger. So we were actually stationed in Munster when I was born. So that's where I was born. My dad's Scottish. I've got a Filipino mum. And since then, we've moved about a lot. So it's taken me from Germany to Ireland and rested up in Scotland. So
Combination.
people, when I start talking, because I look this way in Scotland, they think that you'll talk a certain way, and then I start talking, it's like, how the fuck did that noise come out of his head? Well, I actually work in a hospital here, and it just keeps me quite busy. I have to be quite active for the role, so a very demanding job.
Hello and welcome back to this Move, Sweat and Suffer podcast. You're here with co-founders Lee Hazard, myself, Joe Hotai, and our guests, hopefully to come, who's 10 minutes late, Igor Fillins, otherwise known as Zero Gravity. Sorry, bro, I cut you off. You're about to say something.
Oh, nothing. I was just, I was going to say nothing. I can't remember now. I'm so annoyed. I hate people that are late.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to go to bed. I've got to get ready to go to work. And
exactly.
This is...
Whereas he's lounging about a park in fucking New York.
New York.
Looking at yourself in a mirror.
Null and void, Zero Gravity. Could you please send me a link so I can paste in the app? Mate, just click the link in your email. That's what I'll send him. Just click. This is the back and forth. Just click the link in your email. Send. Jeepers. What the heck? We've not had this before. This is actually, we were talking about before, we had a delay with James, but at least he was on. He was on there and it was just getting sorted on the right.
With James, because you could see him. It was like, do you ever remember that movie Poltergeist when the TV eats the wee girl? She's there, but you can't really communicate.
We're communicating through IG right now at the moment. So yeah, bit of a mission at this stage. But
I think he's using a dial-up internet in Siberia right now.
Photo, sent another photo. What? Join. He sent me a photo. You are about to enter as a guest. Are you sure? I'm like, yes, bro. Hit yes. It's got Zero Gravity. Join. Hit the join. Mate. Hit join.
Oh, God almighty.
Here we go. He's in the waiting room. Finally. Admit.
Oh my God, I think I'm finally here, guys.
Dobro utro.
Добрый день. Can you see me well, or maybe I should just...
No, we could see you the way you got it there.
All right, I'm so sorry. I never, I thought it's just gonna be like a YouTube, and somehow I didn't think it would be a problem, but I'm sorry for made you wait. How are you doing?
All good, brother. We're good. Хорошо. Очень хорошо.
Очень хорошо. Can you...
All right, Igor Fillins, otherwise aka known as Zero Gravity, for those through his Instagram and YouTube channel. Brother, welcome. Thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you. I'm not the strongest. I definitely can't even do a muscle up. but I can provide people with my creativity, and my creativity is creating new combinations all the time. And I started doing that, first of all, for my friends. We went for about a year training where I was writing programs for all of us. During quarantine, we were training, practicing. Some workouts were more than 2 hours, but we did all that. And then at one point, I decided, I was invited for a collaboration with a gentleman called Goku Pump. He's famous on YouTube. It's my friend. And coming there, I thought like I'm gonna look like a, you know, not as good as him, let's say, or all these people, because I can't compete with them in certain exercises. But then when I actually discovered that YouTube thing and everything that's happening on that playground is a wonderful energy, and the people are sharing knowledge with each other, and there's not such a thing as the strongest, as the weakest. Everybody in the same community. So I fell in love with that because I felt alive, you know.
Do you think, like, it was interesting that you mentioned that you didn't want to help people that didn't want to help themselves, and do you think that sort of reflects your current view of the fitness world, having been a personal trainer and been up front, close and personal with these people?
Lee, I really appreciate you, but your accent is so thick. Could you repeat your question, please?
Null and void, Lee. Your
understand
question
the
is null and
question,
void.
yeah. Sorry.
No, right, okay, right. I've actually forgot what I asked now. You've completely threw me off with that there.
It's an honor. It's an absolute honor. So thank you for having me back.
No, all good, and it's great. I can hear your volume's nice and loud, so there won't be any problems with the audio. Sadly, we probably just won't have the cheeky little comments or as frequently, or the one-liners that Lee is known for. Did you know, just before we carry on and dive into your story, people are calling him and referring to him as the Billy Connolly of the fitness industry. That's high praise.
That is high praise.
It's high praise.
Yeah, doing good. I apologize for my voice today. Liverpool had a crazy football game. We scored in the last minute, and I got a little bit carried away. And then I was like, oh no, my voice. And it's a shame Lee isn't here, because I've got him to kind of thank for that, because he has been pushing me.
There's no thanking Lee on this podcast. No. Sorry, carry on.
No, he's been pushing me. He says, you know, if you really want to take your fitness to another level, you know, start incorporating stuff like the kettlebells and, you know, into pull-ups and chin-ups. I got that that bar instead of what Derek likes to call my the homeless burpee camp, that ridiculous video I put out. Oh my God, I still can't believe I did that. The whole thing, it literally looked like that's where I sleep. You know, so this has humbled me, because I'm used to being able to pump out a lot of burpees, because I've been doing them for a little while now. So having to come back and only be able to do 2 or 3 reps at a time has really made me realize how important it is to just humble yourself at the very beginning, otherwise you will hurt yourself. Then I started trying to do what Iron Wolf was doing. I wasn't warming up properly. I wasn't eating properly. Like, I was eating the pizza before trying to pump out 200 burpees, and I'd be dead.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Move and Sweat Suffer podcast with myself, Lee Hazard, co-founder, co-host, and great friend, Joe Hotai, and the one and only, the number one burpee practitioner on God's green earth, aka the Navy SEAL killer, burpees Ikram, the man who took the Navy SEAL burpee to the world and made it his own. Can I just say before we start, I am greatly honoured to be in your presence, burpees Ikram. Your output, your work is probably the most phenomenal I have ever personally watched on YouTube. So thank you for taking the time to come on to the podcast.
Yeah, I'm humbled to be here, man. For real, I'm humble. To having you two having me as a guest in this podcast. I'm so humble right now. And I don't know, I don't even know how to talk about it. But yes, I'm so humble right now to having for you for having me at this podcast right now. For real,
Yeah.
humble down to it, and I I feel nervous right now. I feel nervous and excited at the same time, you know. So yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm humble and I'm honored to be here.
Well, can I just say that there's no reason to be humble because you truly deserve this platform. Your work is of it's such a high level that me and Joe feel that we think that a guy like you should be getting his word out there, and particularly his training methods, because I know that both me and Joe and the burpee community want to know how you train to get to the level that you are at. And can I just say before we go on, when I said Navy SEAL killer, I didn't actually mean killing Navy SEALs. I meant the burpee. All right, just before anybody jumps down my throat for that one, that was just a figure of speech.
From us, Burpees Ikram, from our side, no need to apologise and no need to feel nervous with Lee and I. Lee and I are still learning English as well. Actually, I'm a little bit ahead of Lee, so Lee's still learning English, but we're still both learning and trying our best. So no need to apologise, brother. You're in equal
Good
company
hands.
here. Yeah, good hands and equal company in terms of the English spectrum. So you speak how you're comfortable, the way that you want to speak and communicate as well as you can, and trust that Lee and I will do our best to guide and support and look after you along the way. So the question that Lee asked was, can you share with us about your training style and method and what you do to be at the level that you're at?
Okay, before I tell you about my whole story so far, I want to concrete to Brother Joe and Brother Lee. I see Brother Lee doing 2,500 burpees, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good achievement. I concrete to you.
Huge, yeah.
And
Thank you.
For Brother Joe, you do 1,006 count burpees, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you put in 1 hour before this.
Before,
and
yeah.
Yeah, I watch it, and you kill it, man.
Oh, thank
kill
you.
it.
That's high praise from yourself. Thank you, Burpees Ikram.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, Happy New Year's to you guys.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Yes.
Yeah, Happy New Year's.
Likewise.
So, okay, I will tell you about little bit about my whole life story.
Those headphones are taking up the majority of the screenshot.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, originally from the UK, but I've been in Melbourne about 16 years.
16 years. And what's the weather like there at the moment?
Absolutely gorgeous, mate. 29 degrees and sunny yesterday, 36 today. Yeah, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Beautiful. How's your weather there, Lee?
Absolutely shocking. Absolutely shocking. It's just constantly raining. I was up at Glencoe this morning. I went with my family, and it was probably one of the scariest car drives of my life. The rain was absolutely torrential, and I planned to get a burpee video with a stunning backdrop of a mountain, but I couldn't because the weather was just absolutely disgraceful. It would have destroyed my phone.
Do you miss that weather, that sort of weather there, Rob?
No, absolutely not, Joe. I had the same conversation with my dad yesterday, FaceTime dad yesterday, and he always gets up the weather app and he likes to tell me what the weather's going to be for the next 7 days. And he's like, it's rain, fucking rain. And just, no, I don't miss that at all. I love the sun.
Hey, and just while we've got you, can you just give a shout out to those special headphones you've got on there?
Absolutely. So these thank you. Shout out to my daughter Holly for when you sent me the invite through. It sort of said, "Hey, it works better if you've got some headphones." And I looked around the house, and I had two options. I had the earpods that Lee's got on today, or I had these that my daughter uses for gaming. So I'm like, okay, let's go up a notch and put on the.
It's next level.
The Darth Vader headphones.
Yeah, I mean, not only do it, like, as I've already mentioned, do they match your red shoes, but you've also got a wee light at the end of the microphone, which is distracting me somewhat. It looks like an anal probe or something like that.
That's it. Bend over, Lee.
I was going to say, how the heck do you know what those things look like? But anyway, one thing to...
Obviously, with Melbourne, we'd been through a lot of lockdown. I think we were the most lockdown city in the world at one point. And so through 2020 into 21, we'd had a lot of lockdown. I'd had the luck of still being able to train in a home gym with weights all the way through that. And I had a powerlifting meeting planned for the beginning of January, or I think it's first week of February 21. It took me a couple of months to sort of get started, and 2021, every year in the forum, we have what's called like a transformation thread where people put up photos of themselves, or they put up what they're doing in their training, and they start that in January and it runs to June. And so between January and June, you get a track of how other people are doing and what they're doing. And that was probably the time when I really first started noticing Lee and what Lee was doing. We talked before that. We talked and communicated in each other's training threads and things a bit. But in 2021, I was able to sort of see Lee changing the way he was training, and he was doing these burpee routines, and he was starting to get some really good progress. And all through 21, Lee's answer to anything on the forum was do burpees.
Burpees.
Do burpees.
Do burpees.
Right, so... was do burpees.
Burpees.
Do burpees.
Do burpees.
Right, so...
Gibber Gastra, the Dutch destroyer. Some people call him the Dutch madman. Here with us today on the MoveSweatSuffer podcast. Wonderful to have you here, bro. Great to see you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think I've been training since I was 14.
14. How old are you now?
I'm now 36.
36, right.
I started 14 with karate, weightlifting, and I been doing all kinds of stuff in between.
All kinds of mad stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I travelled through Holland in my early 20s.
Oh.
Whoa, what's about 40 years ago now?
Yeah. Listen. I look younger than Jib. Don't give me that.
and other hobbies. So I try to do at Saturdays a big monster workout now, last week. And throughout the week I'm doing workouts for half hour.
Just 800 ones. Yeah, there's 800 burpee ones on during the week every other day.
Yeah.
I got it, yeah.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah?
Yeah, a lot of people coming up.
What do you say? So I come up to you and I say, what are you doing, bro?
What are you doing?
You respond?
I should say. Yeah.
So you just hit them back with the same question?
Yeah, sometimes, and but most people say good work and impressive and some stuff like that, and I can do that, and then I say, yeah, you can do that, try it out, and they think I'm crazy and stuff.
Joe, I think seeing people doing handstands in the public is a common occurrence in Holland, to be honest with you.
It must be. It must
he
be.
Probably looks like he's just came out of a coffee shop or something like that.
You must give it your all. Simple. No half-ass shit. And that's also the thing with work. I always had physical work, and you're going at it for 100%.
Yeah.
If we got sometimes new colleagues, and they are a little bit, softer, we always fuck them up. Get after the ass and show them some working mentality. And I got that I'm searching sometimes for words. I'm not the best in English, but the blue collar mentality, the working man mentality. I have that, and I also want to show that in my workouts.
All right, so just as a kind of a little diversion from what we're talking about, how do you like fuck up a new start at your work? Because I think about like what people do in Scotland, and like if you were starting a job in like labouring or something like that, you would be sent to go and collect a glass hammer or tartan paint, or you would be told to take a long stand. I mean, is it these sort of tricks you play on people, or is it just like physical grind?
No, we just bust our asses, and we don't want to demolish them, but we let them see what real work is.
Yeah.
No, I don't care about that. I hate lazy people, to simply put. I like people who put in the work.
Yeah. I love that. I'm writing that down because that's going to go in the show notes somewhere.
Yeah, Joe really
I
identifies
agree.
with that. That's
I
Joe's.
agree.
You're like basically the Dutch Joe. Although you've not your haircut is refined.
Oh, mate, it's awesome. I hate lazy people. Quote. Yeah, I love that.
I can't believe Joe's writing that down as a quote. He's had that thought run through his head since he joined the army. I hate lazy people. But when he hears someone else write it, it's like, I'm going to write that as a quote.
When I hear it, it's a quote and it's validated now. See?
Yeah. Do you know how like people have usually got like, you know how when you see people when they've got a house and they've got stencils on the wall and it says shit like live, laugh, love. Joe says, I hate lazy people.
I'm putting that on a t-shirt.
That should be one of your new t-shirts. I hate lazy people.
I'm putting that on a t-shirt. That's coming. Stay tuned. I'm going to do it today, and I'm going to post it on Instagram, and it's going to be in reference. Shout out to Jimmy Gastra.
Thank you.
I know it's like a motive. You know how you see a quote on like some internet site? It's like Winston, if you're going through hell, keep going. Winston Churchill.
Yeah.
I hate lazy people. Jim Gastra.
We'll get into it. It's nice to see that your headphones are nice and small, unlike Rob Simpson's were.
Yes.
At 12 o'clock. And so can you just tell us whereabouts are you, mate? And what do you do for work?
Sure. Yeah. So I'm here in Sacramento, California. And so for work, I'm a anesthesia technician. Sorry, I'm getting a little echo in my earbud here. But anesthesia technician, and I work at 2 different hospitals. I work at one of our big kind of community hospitals, university hospital, and I do that per diem. And then I am a anesthesia tech full-time at another hospital close by.
Wow. And so you put people to sleep as well as a whole bunch of other things, keep everything running smooth, I guess.
Yes, I help. I assisted that.
Yeah.
Well, you've got something in common with Joe. You both put people to sleep.
Nice. People look at Lee sideways as well.
Yeah.
Chris, do you have to change your scrubs after a burpee session?
I sure do. Yeah. So good thing we have plenty.
Yeah, because there would be nothing worse than knowing that you're going for a life-saving operation and knowing that there's some sweaty anesthesist who's dripping in sweat.
Yes, very true.
Like that, just especially with the American health system, you know, we're paying top dollar for that service.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
That's why they're paying for it. They get to have the privilege. Hey, you said you got, do you have some of your colleagues sometimes join in on some of your sessions, did you say?
So I do, yeah. I have a few physicians and registered nurses and technicians and environmental services, ancillary staff that will come out and join me. And it's been really awesome.
I noticed you didn't mention any patients.
No patients. No, they.
Maybe they should.
They should. Yes, you're right. Absolutely, I agree.
It sounds like some fucked up version of like ER. Remember that TV show?
Right.
like watching it on like drugs or something like that.
Right. Yeah. Very
Yeah.
true. Yeah, it was Iron Wolf, and I seen all that work and effort he was put in, and I just seen the results that he had, and I said, wow, I need to try that.
Yeah.
It's always interesting that children either like begin your fitness journey or they end it completely. There's never any middle ground.
Yeah, that's right.
There's guys that have been training for years and have children and they can't train anymore. And then there's guys who don't train, have a kid and realise, shit, I need to train because I'm an absolute mess. And changing my baby's diaper has actually helped me to blow out my fucking arse.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm going to put him on the spot. He's been practicing his busy dad introduction, and I want to see how he goes with his quintessentially English accent.
All right,
busy dads and busy people everywhere.
Okay, great. Before I introduce myself, Joe and Lee, let me tell you just what an inspiration you two guys are to me. I feel like I'm meeting celebrities. I feel like I'm meeting some of my personal heroes.
That's how we feel.
I'm really so glad that you've put this together. I think it's a wonderful project, and I really do feel honoured to be here. So first of all, just thank you very much. So yeah, so I am the Busy Dad. I run the Busy Dad program, channel created for spreading the word. My actual name is Max Edwards, and I'm I mean, compared to you guys, I'm pretty lame dad. I've only got one child. There's only like 15 between you. But ordinarily, I'm based in San Diego, in California. Right now, I'm actually in England, where I grew up. I'm visiting family. My brother just got married, and I've been here for that occasion. But yeah. So the channel is really trying to spread the word about this very minimalist, burpee-focused training program that I really think can help a lot of people. It's helped me. And so yeah, that's what I'm all about. You know what? To my I was not able to persuade Freddie to do some burpees. Yeah. He was too worried. He was too worried on the morning. He wanted to do his intuitive yoga training, and then by the time I in the evening, he was too far gone, and I think he was trying to summon the last of his physical reserves for the consummation part of the night. So unfortunately.
Okay.
I just want to know if he got the priest in Navy SEALs while he was conducting the service. Does anybody have anything to say about this wedding taking place?
Yeah.
I get that fucking priest in 10 Navy SEALs.
He marched me to the gym every day for 6 months. I lost 25 kilograms, and I really discovered. Wow. Yeah, it was a very, very powerful kind of conversion for me, and I found a real salvation in training. Well, how can I keep training in my life, given that I recognize this deep value in it, but given that I'm about to have a child, I'm about to try and completely throw myself into fatherhood, my world's going to be turned upside down. Is there any way of keeping a meaningful place in my life for training without letting it take things over like it had done in the past?
It's quite an interesting point you raised there. One that made me smile straight away, and that was that you had to consult with your wife to come up with a training program.
Yeah.
Are you basically telling me you had to get your wife's permission to train? Is that what you're trying to say here?
Yeah, I did. No, it wasn't a permission.
No.
The alcohol problem kind of did peak in my early 20s. I think it's the main reason I was so overweight. My body just couldn't keep up with the amount I was drinking. I mean, I really did lose a couple. And I think, when I did discover training, when I lost all of that weight, I stopped drinking for like 6 months. And that kind of set a pattern for the next few years.
We're just a couple of guys that enjoy moving and sweating and suffering to try to achieve what we want to do. And we've noticed this massive community, very supportive, very positive. And we've decided that we would like to try to connect and catch up and bring these people together in the hopes of not only continuing to support them on their journey, but also to maybe through their stories can help inspire and uplift other people that may be struggling or maybe going through their own issues. And this could potentially be a way to help them move forward and make progress in whatever shape, way, or form that might take.
Well, my name's Lee Hazard, and I'm a fitness instructor by trade. I'm married to my beautiful wife, Michaela. I've got 3 lovely children that take up the majority of my time. Yeah, I like to get them involved in the videos, usually because I don't have any other options at points, particularly when I'm watching them during the day when my wife's at work. So I've had to construct a system where I'm babysitting and performing burpees at exactly the same time, which is probably one of the most difficult jobs I've ever had to do in my life. If you've seen the Kevin Hart comedy skit, you'll see that dads just listen out for shit. They don't watch kids, they just listen for shit. And that's definitely my style of babysitting right now. But yeah, I also consider myself a burpee practitioner now. It's a endeavour that's taken over my life. I've always been a bit of a meathead when it comes to fitness. My first love has always been like training with free weights and so forth. And I came across this guy, I don't know his real name, but I know him, he's called The Punisher. And he's also on Reddit, he's Mythical Strength, and he's got a kind of a cult following because he's just very matter of fact with the information that he imparts upon people and so forth. And I started reading this guy's training log, and his mindset just blew me away. He was doing work that I just didn't believe possible. It was flying in the face of everything that I had been led to believe through fitness training, which was like, you need to be recovering constantly. You can't do this because if you do this, it might affect that. You can't do cardio because if you do cardio, you'll lose your muscular gains and so forth. And I looked at this guy, and this guy was doing everything that I had been told that you shouldn't do.
Yeah, right.
And the results the guy was getting was insane. But at the same time, you also seen through the guy's writing style that he just had this like, I don't know how to really describe it, but this just Vulcan, like it was like a fitness Vulcan. There was no emotion connected to his style of training. He was just matter of fact. And I really admired that. It was something I was looking for because my training was almost emotional. It was having an impact on my life. Like I was getting neurotic if I couldn't train because it was just so much ingrained into my life. Yeah. So I read this guy's work and it was blowing me away. And this guy was big on conditioning. He was doing like crazy circuits with kettlebells and burpees and squats, and they were insane. And he was training every day. No, I was doing the conventional burpee where you're jumping about and you look like a cat that's fell in a bath and so forth. It's the burpee that everybody fears. You know that way when you say to people, "Wait, we're going to do burpees," they just go, "Oh, for fuck's sake!" And then you see them and they're like, looking like they've just been sent a fucking 10,000 volts up their anus, and they're just. So I started doing the burpees, and that was my style of burpee at the start. So I went onto YouTube and I started typing in burpees and so forth. And then I came across the Iron Wolf. And when I watched the Iron Wolf, my mind was completely blown apart. And I think this goes with everybody that sees the Iron Wolf. It just...
What's it about it that blew your mind apart when you saw Iron Wolf?
The rawness and the authenticity of his message. There was no ulterior motive. Fitness is so commercial now. It's such an industry. You've got like Gymshark, and you've got like 22-year-olds telling you how to be fit, and it's just this big clusterfuck of corporate bullshit. And here was a guy that had just literally taken a phone and put it on a part of his porch and just filmed himself doing like 90-minute long workouts that just consisted of burpees. And I thought, what the fuck? I've never seen anything like this in my life. So I was captivated. Yeah. Plus, I enjoyed his personality. There was no frills and no gimmicks. He was quite straight up. He would just talk to you. He wasn't trying to like be wacky or you know, that way they just try to stand out. There was nothing to us. The thing that stood out was the hard work.
And what we should have mentioned at the start was Happy New Year to everybody. Apologies for that. Happy New Year from Lee and I to everybody that might be taking the time to listen. We hope you've enjoyed. We appreciate the support from last year, and we look forward to having your support and insights and comments going forward into 2022. Have an awesome one. Take care, and we'll speak soon.